The Lekwa municipality has urged residents to move away from low-lying areas and also avoid crossing streams, as some areas remain flooded in Standerton in Mpumalanga. The flooding came as a result of the release of water from the Grootdraai Dam, which was full due to the persistent rainfall. Mweli Masilela is following that story and joins me now. Mweli, good afternoon. Just bring us up to speed with some of the impact that people in this community are facing as a result of those flooded waters.
Hugo, quite a devastation in a number of areas, and what you are seeing behind me is the Standerton taxi rank. So taxi operators had to move from this area as it was no longer safe for them to continue operating here. And what we have seen is that they had to now get some temporary space where they are operating from. But they are concerned that business is no longer happening the way it used to be, because there's less commuters now available to be taken to the township most of the time, because many people would come to town to go to the shops. But what is happening is that several shops are now closed in the flooded areas. And we also know that also in terms of residential areas, Hugo, some people had to be moved, but it's not too many of them, according to the Lekwa municipality. Just 6 families that had to be taken away from their homes and be placed in a much safer area. So we spoke to the MMC for Communities Services as well as Safety here at the Lekwa municipality, saying that as much as the devastation is manageable at this stage, but they are still cautioning people to not cross streams and rivers, as many areas, especially here in the CBD, they are flooded. Let's take a listen in terms of what she had to say.
The affected areas at the moment, it's the rank, as you can see, and Moscow as well as Roykopen Bridge. And we had a situation that at Mayerville Bridge, small cars were not able to go the other side. That we had, with the help of fire departments and other stakeholders, that we had to assist those cars. Yes.
So Hugo, that's the MMC for Community Services as well as Safety here at the Lekwa municipality. But another element, Hugo, is that in terms of water infrastructure, the fact that many roads have been damaged, it caused a lot of problems for the municipality. We are told that workers who actually have to attend to the water treatment plants haven't been able to go there to do their daily work, and that caused problems in terms of water supply to different communities, because those people were not able to access those water treatment plants. But according to the MMC, she's saying that they've done everything possible to ensure that at some stage those workers are able to access the water treatment plants. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
Our workers couldn't go to the water treatment plant, so we had to get assistance from other departments to assist them, that they can go the other side. But it really affected me, especially when it comes to water. We didn't have water as we like to, because the pumps, it was hard for workers to go there. Yes.
So Hugo, that's the current situation on the ground, but of course we know that Standerton is not the only area affected here in Mpumalanga. There are areas like Nkomazi, on the other side of Mbombela. There are areas also like Tewane South, where we saw houses being submerged after those persistent rains. So what we know from the side of government is that they've quantified the damage they've caused. They've actually told us that the damage is worth about 300 million rand, and they're still waiting for the resources now that a state of disaster has been declared. But we know that from the side of non-profit organizations on the ground, they've been doing their best to try and ensure that those in need are assisted with food, blankets, and other basic necessities. For example, the gift of the givers as well as Red Cross. We've seen them them operating or reaching out to the people in the most affected municipalities, such as Nkomazi and the city of Mbombela, Hugo.
Well, I'm curious to know, just looking at that picture behind you where the taxi rank is flooded and obviously is not going to be operational for some time, what is a plan by the municipality to clear that water? Is it a case of wait and see, wait for the flood waters to subside, so to speak, or is there something that they can do? And the second question is around learners, school children. What is the plan? Are there any of them affected by what's happening with the floods and the flood waters and the non-availability of transport to some areas?
Hugo, what I can tell you is that at some point there was a communique from the office of the Premier, and actually what they said is that government employees must try and work at home. That was a precautionary measure to ensure that people are safe, and that was from the date, the 13th to the 15th of February. But then there was no, I haven't seen, I must say, I haven't seen any communication, further communication to say what is going to happen now going forward, because we know that schools in many parts that are affected, especially in Nkomazi, even though we saw some learners going to school and some teachers going to school, but in the most affected areas, there were some of the learners decided that they won't go to school. And from the side of the municipality about what is happening now, well, in terms of ensuring that this water is removed, we haven't seen any action from the ground. All we've heard from the leadership of the municipality is that, yes, they are doing their best working with other departments, because this is now also the provincial government as well as the national government has to come in terms of resources and also giving guidance in terms of what is happening on the ground. But, well, the situation is really, from the side of the people on the ground, they are not happy about the situation, especially the taxi drivers and the business people that are owning shops around here, because we've seen most of the shops are closed, especially in these areas where they are flooded. So maybe by tomorrow we'll see some movement, because the biggest concern, Hugo, is that this water was released from the Grootdraai Dam, and because that dam was about 120% full, and we don't know, because in other areas it's still raining. There might be a situation whereby you find that they have to open those flood gates again. So that is the current situation. But of course, we'll continue to put our ears on the ground and find out as to what is going to happen going forward, in case it takes some time for this water to be cleared here.
Well, before we let you go, let's touch a little bit on service delivery. We know that it is the bane of most communities, poor service delivery. I can only imagine that with this level of flood water that many of those services are restricted. What is the position on some of those services? And also talk about the impact of load shedding on this community. Has it been worsened by these flood waters?
Hugo, this flooding comes at a time when already Standerton has been facing quite a number of issues. We are touching on the issue of load shedding, as well as the issue of water supply, for example. We know that those are long-standing issues. Residents of Standerton have been complaining about that. And in fact, in many areas here, you find that business people have to use generators in order to keep their businesses running, because it's not only the load shedding implemented by ESCOM. We know that there's also internal load reduction implemented by the Lekwa municipality. But we know, Hugo, also that it's not only the Lekwa municipality. Many municipalities in the province are experiencing the same, and they are owing ESCOM millions of rands in electricity. So those are some of the issues that residents have been raising before. They've been actually marching to the municipality. Some have been actually complaining about the fact that even the water tanks that are used to bring water to the community, you won't see them as per the schedule given by the municipality. So that's the frustration from the side of the community. So now having such floods hitting this area, so it's almost like a double disaster for the community members, because they have to think about their safety. They also have to think about as to whether they will have access to clean drinking water. And of course the problem of water worsened by the situation now that roads are damaged and not all workers are able to access water treatment plants. So that's the issue. And we know that there's big companies that have been complaining about the issue of service delivery here, the poor road network like Astral Foods. They had to raise a number of concerns in terms of operations here because they are struggling because of the current situation in the municipality. Not only that company, but many people now shying away in terms of investing in this part of the municipality, which is Standerton. So in terms of service delivery, Hugo, I can say that there's been a lot of concerns raised by the community, even marching to the Lekwa municipality to raise those concerns.
Mweli Masilela, appreciate your time this afternoon coming to us from the Lekwa municipality in Standerton, where floodwaters, as is pretty clear from the images that we are seeing now, have impacted a rank in the area, and so much else has been impacted, particularly service delivery. We will continue to monitor those stories. Appreciate your time this afternoon.